I can't believe what's happening in Chicago. Bears fans, we've got 3 stories that will change everything you thought about this season. First, the official dates for the training camp are confirmed, and you'll be able to see our team in action. But that's just the start. Second, there's an alarming trend about our general manager that's coming to light and could explain a lot. And third, there's a trade rumor so ridiculous, it's going to make Caleb Williams want to bolt from Chicago. Stay tuned until the end, because this is going to blow your mind. Go Bears! Chicago, we finally have the official training camp dates. And let me tell you, this is more important than you might think. Rookies arrive on July 19th, veterans on the 22nd, but what really excites me is that there are 13 public dates to go see them train. Do you understand the magnitude of what's happening here? First, let's talk about Ben Johnson. This man transformed Detroit's offense from a joke into one of the league's most explosive. Jared Goff went from being considered washed up to Pro Bowl candidate under Johnson, and now we have him with Caleb Williams. This is pure gold. The specific dates are July 25th and 26th and July 29th, 30th, and 31st. On August 2nd and 3rd, we have Family Fest, always special for Chicago families. Then August 5th, and here's the big one. On August 8th, we have a joint practice with Miami, followed by another on August 15th with Buffalo. Do you know why these joint practices are so important? Because for the first time, we'll see how Caleb Williams responds against defenses he's not familiar with. Practicing against the Bears' defense every day is one thing, but facing different schemes, different players, that's where a quarterback is truly tested. Miami has an aggressive defense under Vic Fangio. The man knows how to confuse young quarterbacks with creative blitzes and complex coverages. It will be Williams' first real test outside the controlled environment of Chicago. How will he react when he sees looks he's never seen before? And Buffalo, come on, that defense has been elite for years. Von Miller, Matt Milano when healthy, Tre'Davious White, those are players who've been in Super Bowls. It's exactly the kind of competition Williams needs before the regular season. Ben Johnson already said he's excited about these opportunities. It's going to be fun going against a different scheme. That thought process, the problems that arise that way, but also for our players to compete against a different opponent. Do you see what's happening here? Johnson isn't trying to protect Williams. He's preparing him for war. That's exactly what we need after years of coaches who seem afraid to challenge their quarterbacks. Tickets are free, but first come, first served, available on July 9th at 10 a.m. I recommend being ready because these dates will fill up fast. Chicago fans are hungry to see this team after everything that's happened. But now comes the part that really worries me, Chicago. There's a statistic that's come to light that should alarm every serious Bears fan. Ryan Poles has had 4 drafts as general manager. And do you know how many players he's drafted have appeared in the NFL Top 100 list? 0. Not a single one in 4 years. Do you understand what this means for the future of this franchise? Let's compare this to Ryan Pace, who with all his monumental mistakes at least had draft results. Jordan Howard in his first season as a starter in 2016 rushed for 1,313 yards. That's talent development. Adrian Amos became one of the best safeties in the league. Eddie Jackson was All-Pro in his second season. Was Pace perfect? Not at all. The man buried us in salary cap hell, made questionable decisions with Mitch Trubisky, and made mistakes that cost us years. But at least he could identify and develop draft talent. Now look at what Poles has done. In 2022, he took Kyler Gordon in the second round, decent, but not spectacular. Jaquan Brisker has been solid, but not a game changer either. In 2023, Darnell Wright has been good on the offensive line, but top 100 in the league? Not yet. And in 2024, Caleb Williams obviously has potential, but it's too early to judge. Rome Odunze looks promising, but needs time. Kieran Amegadjie has barely played. The fundamental problem here is that Poles seems completely dependent on trades and free agency for elite talent. Montez Sweat, trade with Washington. DJ Moore, trade with Carolina. Joe Thuney, free agency. Keenan Allen, trade with the Chargers. Do you know what that means? That we're constantly paying premium prices for players that other teams developed. Every time we make a trade, we're giving up draft picks that could become elite players for us. Look at teams like Kansas City, Baltimore, or San Francisco. How did they build their dynasties? By developing talent from the draft. Patrick Mahomes was developed by Kansas City. Lamar Jackson by Baltimore. The Niners have been mining gold from the draft for years with players like Nick Bosa, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, and us. We're buying our talent like we're the Yankees of baseball. That might work short term, but what happens when those contracts expire? What happens when the salary cap catches up to us? We'll be right back where we were with Pace. There's something else that worries me. Jalen Johnson, drafted by Pace, dropped from number 34 to 71 in the top 100 lists. Could it be our current development system is not maximizing our players' potential? Johnson had a solid but not spectacular season last year. For a player of his caliber, we'd expect him to be improving, not falling in the rankings. What does that say about our defensive coaches and our development system? I'm not saying Poles is a bad general manager. He's made smart moves, improved the offensive line, brought in talent. But building a successful team long-term requires more than just making smart trades. It requires identifying raw talent and developing it to an elite level. And now we come to the news that's got me completely unhinged. There are reports suggesting that the Bears might trade DJ Moore to the New York Jets for a third-round pick. I cannot believe anyone would have the audacity to propose something so ridiculous. Let's put this in perspective, Chicago. DJ Moore is a receiver who's had 4,000-yard seasons in 7 years of his career. In 2023, the man had 1,364 receiving yards. That's more yards than most NFL teams give to their entire receiving corps. A third-round pick? Are you kidding? Do you know what kind of players typically come out of the third round? Rotation players, specialists, projects that might become regular starters if you're lucky. And we want to trade a proven receiver in his prime for that? But this goes way beyond just trade value. This is about Caleb Williams and his development. Do you remember what happened last season when Moore arrived in Chicago? Williams went from looking lost and scared to being confident and making plays. Why? Because he finally had a receiver he could trust. Moore isn't just a good receiver. He's the kind of player that makes young quarterbacks look better. He runs precise routes, has reliable hands, and can create separation against any defense. Do you know how many times last year we saw Williams look for Moore in clutch situations? He was his safety valve. And now we're talking about taking that security away just when Williams needs to take the next step in his development. It's like taking the training wheels off a kid and then pushing him downhill on a bike with no brakes. But let's dig deeper into this. The Jets are desperate for receivers. Aaron Rodgers is in his last season. They're trying to capitalize on a quickly closing window, and we're going to help them for crumbs? It's madness. Moore is under contract until 2029 with very favorable terms for Chicago. His contract has a cap hit of about $20 million per year, which is a fair price for a receiver of his caliber. To put it in perspective, Tyreek Hill makes $30 million a year. Devontae Adams makes $28 million. Moore is a steal. Do you know what else bothers me about this rumor? It shows a total lack of understanding of what a young quarterback needs. Caleb Williams doesn't need weapons taken away. He needs more. He needs an arsenal so deep defenses don't know who to cover with Moore, Romo Duns, and Luther Burden. We have the foundation of a receiving corps that could be elite for the next 5 years. Why would we destroy that for a third-round pick? That statistically has less than a 30% chance of becoming a regular starter? And let's talk about Luther Burden for a second. This kid was a draft steal. Many analysts had him as a first-round receiver, and somehow he fell to where we could take him. Do you know why he looks so promising? Because he's learning from DJ Moore every day. Moore isn't just a player on the field. He's a mentor. He's teaching O'Duns and Burden the finer details of the position. How to run routes against different coverages, how to read the hands of corners, how to use their body to create separation. That's invaluable. If we trade Moore now, we're not only losing immediate production, we're losing the accelerated development of our young receivers. It's like selling your most valuable teacher just when your students are learning the most. And you know what else irks me about this rumor? The Jets are in total desperation mode. Aaron Rodgers probably has one more season, maybe two if he's lucky. Their offensive line is questionable, their defense is aging, and they need to make win-now moves. Us. We're building for the future. Williams is 22 years old. O'Duns is 22. Burden is a rookie. We're at the beginning of something special, not the end. Why would we help a conference competitor at the expense of our own future? If the Jets really want more, let them pay what he's worth. We're talking a first-round pick minimum, probably more. And even then, I wouldn't do it unless we have a clear plan to replace that production. Chicago fans, these three stories paint a picture that's exciting and concerning at the same time. The training camp gives us hope. We're finally going to see Ben Johnson work his magic with Caleb Williams. Those joint practices will be crucial for our quarterback's development. But the statistic about polls and the draft should alarm us all. 4 years without developing a single elite player from the draft isn't just a coincidence. It's a troubling trend. If we can't develop our own talent, we're doomed to be perpetual buyers in an increasingly expensive market. And this rumor about DJ Moore? If there's any truth to this, if the organization is even considering this kind of move, then we have bigger problems than we thought. You can't build a winning culture by stripping your franchise quarterback of weapons. The reality is, we're at a critical moment in Bears history. We have the pieces to be successful. Williams, Johnson, a solid defense, a promising receiving corps. But we also have serious questions about our talent development ability and roster-building philosophy. We need Poles to prove he can do more than just make smart trades. We need him to develop elite players from the draft. And we need him to keep the players who are already working, especially when it comes to the development of our future quarterback. What do you think about these stories? Do you think the concerns about Poles are valid? Or am I being too harsh? Do you think DJ Moore is untouchable? Or is there a price for which you trade him? And about the training camp, will you be there? On July 9th waiting for tickets? Leave your comments below because I want a serious debate on these issues. If you agree that we need to develop more talent from the draft, give this video a like. If you believe DJ Moore should stay in Chicago no matter what, subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell. This season is going to define the future of the Chicago Bears for the next 5 years. We can't afford mistakes. The Chicago fan base deserves better. Caleb Williams deserves better. And this city deserves a team that competes for championships, not one that's always rebuilding. Bear down Chicago, and I'll see you in the next video with more deep analysis of everything happening at Hollis Hall.